each lecture I try to put up a list of what subjects will most likely be covered for the day. This is the first semester I'm going to try to post this on Blackboard, so you'll have to write it down. On Blackboard, in course information, I'm constantly updating the course schedule right here. This is kind of the official place, inside course information, when you go onto Blackboard. And any changes, because of our pace, like we're going to start out probably being ahead of the schedule, but then we get to chapter 4, we start to fall behind the schedule. I started out with these two chapters, 13 and 10, because they're so easy that you won't get scared. That's kind of the point of it. They're pretty easy. But if you're finding these two chapters really hard, then you need to reach out first to a free tutor, because there's tutors available for free, and then to me. Don't do nothing if you start to struggle, especially with these two chapters, because if you start to struggle with these two chapters, that means numbers not your thing, and the class is going to be a challenge for you, so don't attempt to go alone. Get help. That's the key. These first two chapters. Because from here, it starts to get harder and harder and harder, and all the chapters 1 through 4 are the basis for all the other chapters. After we get through chapter 4, each chapter is like an individual job or a different position at a company we utilize. This class is all about using numbers to make business decisions. But the bottom line, the concept that by the end of this course is all about using these concepts you're going to learn to help a business stop wasting money. Major companies, big ones, are all using all of it. All the time, every day. That's how they make sure they not waste too much money. But medium-sized and small companies, they're not doing this. So, kind of the key to this class for the future is to say, when you go, if you're applying for companies that are medium or small, and you can talk about an interview, if this is some of these chapters that you're going to learn here, or something that you found really interesting, you understand how to do, they're probably going to be interested in you because they don't have anybody at their company to do it. And they're wasting money and not realizing it. I used to work for a consulting firm. My job was to travel all over from company to company to company every week and dive into their financials and dive into their operations and analyze their whole business. And by the end of the week, I would present to them, here's why you're not making as much profit as you'd like to make. Because usually they call me in when either they're losing money or they're hardly making as much profit as they should be. And then I give them the reason. And then they either fix it themselves or they call in the next team after I leave to fix it for them. It was these mathematical concepts that I would leave them with or get them to understand that this is why they're wasting money, because they're not implementing any of these benefits. But if you're not a numbers person, you're going to hate it. You're going to hate it. But you got to have it. Because if you're a business major, you're going to, and for your first 5 years in business, you're going to go, God, I never need this. But then you start getting promoted. You get to the point to where now you're in the executive team. You're part of top management. And you're going to be going to meetings every week. You're going to be meeting out. You're going to go, why do we do all these meetings? And in these meetings, you have other managers that are talking about all these and using all these. And you need to understand what's going on, even if you're not a numbers person. You could be the head of sales. And you could be the most creative person and so good with public relations and a people person, a team builder. But if you go to these meetings and not understand what anybody's talking about when it comes to the numbers, you're not going to be able to contribute. And everybody's going to know it. So this is for everybody. Every department is being used. Finance, this is used. Operations, this is being used. And then speaking of operations, one of my other goals is to help prepare you for the classes you have coming up, which include operations management. Several of these things, I'm just introducing you to it, but you'll go more in-depth into some of these subjects in operations management, and I can't remember the other class you need to do. And you have literally major projects coming up in your future, business majors, where you're using some of these. There's a class you're doing a simulation with a team of about 4, you and 3 others, and it's a big simulation, probably. You know how a spreadsheet goes from A, where does it go? A all the way, and then it goes to Z, and then all of a sudden you got AA to ZZ, and so on. Well, the spreadsheet you're going to make in that project is going probably all the way into ZZ. That's how big this is. It's a major project. And I'm introducing to you simulation in chapter 12, which is more towards the end of the semester, but it's all about preparing you for that project you got coming into. Forecasting is going to be part of our class. Now, I'm introducing you to forecasting. But in operations management, last semester they had a major project in there where they had to go out, a team of 3 from operations, on their own time, had to go out, find raw data, take that data, forecast it with a real easy forecasting technique that's called naive, and then use a sophisticated forecasting technique to also forecast the same data. And this is a big project in your operations class that I need to prepare you for. And at the same time, I'm preparing you for all the different jobs that you're probably going to face after you get out of here. Anybody not a business major? Because the things you're learning here are mostly geared towards business majors. So mostly my non-business majors are either computer information systems or computer science of some kind, or nursing administration. Is there anybody? No one that needs an analytical class. So you guys are taking it to get rid of whatever. This should be easy for you because most computer majors are numbers people. Is that correct in your case? Sure. Correct in your case? Yeah. Numbers, like you guys take some programming, coding classes? Yeah. Because that's very logical, analytical. You just code things, you do a ton of coding and kind of thing. Okay. All right. Are you ready? Let's talk about the class. Let's go to the syllabus. Everybody who was signed up for this class as of a few days ago, I think, should have got an email. You were signed up for this class a long time ago, and I sent it maybe in July or something, or June, I can't remember. Or you got it just recently, because I noticed you weren't signed up, that you're new to the class. Is there anybody here who didn't get this? And if so, is it because you just signed up? So everybody got a copy? Oh, good. All right. So you kind of looked it over. Here's my office hours. But what I want to point out is part of your participation is to visit my office or have an office visit at least once during the semester. And I know these hours, well, I can't even see the dash there, I don't know what's going on. But I know these hours probably are not going to meet everybody's schedule. So I'm all about FaceTime, Skype, or whatever video conferencing you're playing with. I'll download it, I'll teach myself how to use it, and we can do meetings that way if you need to. One meeting is all you need, but if you want more, and you can't make these hours, just let me know and we'll schedule FaceTime. Usually I do it at night. Okay? After class. Whatever, after I eat. So Skype, FaceTime is available just about any time. Mostly nights when I usually schedule it, but I'll do mornings if you need to. Let's see. Normal grading scale, except for, if you notice, like, where is it? B, instead of 84 to 86, is 83. A, instead of 94 to 100, is 93. Versus C, same thing, 73 instead of 74 there, and 63 instead of 64 there. Other than that, I'm just giving a little break. Other than that, it's a fairly normal grading scale. Throughout the whole semester, after every quiz, you'll know exactly where you stand in this class. You'll go to a blackboard, and your overall, I will say, weighted total is what we'll say. I'll put the weights on every assignment that's been graded up to that point. You know, if we've gone through 3 in-class assignments, I'll anticipate that maybe we have 10, so each one's worth 2%. I'll assign 6% to the in-class assignments if we've done 3 up to the first quiz. So at the end of the first quiz, you go look at weighted total, and that's your grade in this class. Just match it up here. If the class ended right then, you know exactly where you stand. Then we get to the second quiz. I'll update weighted total. You'll know exactly where you stand if the class ended right then, and so on and so on. So you'll know all along the way exactly how you're doing this. And a lot of people at the end will start saying, what do I need on the final to get a B? What do I need on the final to get an A? And stuff like that. I'm going to post a spreadsheet where you can just plug in different scores for the final and see what you need to get whatever grade you want. So I'll get that updated and set up and get that posted fairly soon. If I forget, someone remind me, because I forget a lot. All right? In-class assignments, maybe 10, 20% of your grade. Participation, we'll talk about in just a few minutes. Homework, there's probably 8 or 7 maybe. 16% of your grade. There's 4 quizzes, 9% each quiz. This is a big part of your grade. And then the final exam is 20% of your grade. And it's cumulative. No, have someone's about to finish that. Yes, it is. The whole semester is up for grabs, could be on this final. The good news is, these quizzes and this final exam are all done the exact same way. A couple of suggestions. You know it's open book, open note. There's no cheating, no internet. So it's open book, open note. Any tools you can have right there that's not internet. And you're going to have folders up beside either side of you. Everybody's going to have them on either side. You can't see you right or left. So you're on your own. Blah, blah, blah. There's going to be a seating chart. So you're not going to be sitting next to somebody you usually are working with in the group assignments we're going to do here. The in-class is done group. I try to take away all temptation to cheat. I don't want to catch anyone cheating. But I try to let everybody know up front that I do everything I can to try to take away the temptation of cheating, to try to make it impossible, so that you'll finally, if you thought, hey, I remember something, I have to cheat to get through this class, I'm hoping you'll finally get the realization, wow, you can't cheat in this class. So you buckle down and say, I need to start applying myself, I need to get a tutor, I need to start reaching out to me and asking questions and getting and trying problems in the back of the book, having me send you the answers, so you can compare and see how you're doing, whatever it takes. But that's what you need to rely on to get through this class, stuff like that, and not cheating. I know how tempting it is. I'm just being college one day, a long time before you were born. So I know how tempting it is. I don't know. I want to say something else about cheating. Any questions on that one? Anyone see that? Everyone's okay? Oh, I know what it was. If you find old quizzes, because I do hand them back and let you keep them, that's fine. Use it as a study tool, but you can't pull it out during a quiz. The good news is, I've changed the quizzes and final exams every single semester for the last, this is the 13th year. So think about it. 4 times 26 semesters, that's 13 different, there's 2 every year, right? So 26 different final exams. But I changed the problems every single time. Not one exam or quiz is the same as previous. Don't get me wrong. There are some problems on there that are similar, but none of the numbers are the same. The words are changed. I might be looking for something else now. It's different. So there is an advantage of finding my old quizzes is that it will kind of prepare you to what to expect, but it's not going to help you get to the answer. It will kind of help you maybe on the logic if I'm asking something similar to it. But you can't pull it out from your quiz. If you find an old quiz, write some notes down there. You know, you're allowed to use your notes in your own handwriting. Typed up notes or whatever, but you can't pull out an old quiz. All right. There's a lot of students who've had these before. So you can go ahead and ask them for some old quizzes. They have them, and they're not bad. Once you take the first quiz, you'll have a good idea what to expect because I'm pretty consistent how I do things. Each quiz is done consistently. The final exam is done just like the quiz is. Open book, open note. The type of problems to expect are always consistent on the type of problems. And what I really pride myself on, okay, I keep getting flat. What I really pride myself up is when I grade things, I'm grading like a machine, not even looking at your name. I'm trying to grade everything the exact same. If I took off a half a point for this mistake on problem number 1, I'm looking at problem number 1 on everybody's quizzes, and that same mistake, I'm trying to take off exactly the same points on everyone. So it's consistent, no bias, and I try to do everything I can to treat everybody the exact same. So when you come up and say, hey, this was late, but I don't want to have a late reduction, you got to remember, I treat everybody the exact same, which means you have to take the late reduction, because if I don't do the late reduction, the next person comes in and says they're going to die, then I won't be able to give them the late reduction, or the next person, or the next person. Instead, I just go with this. It's called the no excuse policy. If you're late for something, just bite the bullet and realize it's going to cost you some points. And no matter what reason you tell me, it's not going to change anything. I'm going to treat everybody the exact same. It's almost like a machine. No emotion. That's right. No emotion. So, the no excuse policy means it's late, it's late. Here's my suggestion that a lot of students make a mistake. They won't be able to finish a homework assignment maybe, for whatever reason, and then they don't hand it in because they don't have it finished. Bad mistake. Hand in whatever it is you do have finished, and then hand in the rest late. Because you only get the late reduction on the part that was late, not the part you were able to complete. Everybody hear that? Because this is the number one mistake that happens at the beginning of every single semester. Somebody will hand in their assignment late because they didn't finish it. But they have half of it done maybe. Hand in the half you have done. Don't let the whole thing be late, just the part that you couldn't finish. And when it's late, it's 25% off the bat, all the way until midnight the following day it was due. Then after that, the next day is another 10%, next day is another 10%, with a max of 60. So you can still get a 40 on an assignment that you completely forgot about 12 weeks ago. Right? We're in week 12. You go, oh my God, why don't I have this zero here? I don't remember us being assigned that assignment. You can still get a 40. The answer is posted. The answer is posted. Because it's late though, you have to put the answer in your own handwriting. No copy, pasting, or anything like that. All I'm asking is that a little bit of a distinction by you at least putting the answer in your own handwriting. The answer is posted. The odds of you getting the full, what is this, you're 12 weeks late, so the odds of you getting the full 40 points are pretty good because the answer is posted. Alright? But it's got to be your own handwriting. Take a picture with your phone, email it to me. Or bring it in. You're already 12 weeks late. You don't have to be in a hurry. Bring it in and get it to me. But if you're handing this up the next day, you're trying to get in before midnight so that you're only 25% off, don't wait till class to hand it in because that would be now another 10%. If it's before midnight, take a picture of your phone, email it to me. Good goal. You don't have to say, did you get that? Go to your sent folder. Make sure it was sent to me. See that it was sent. And if it's in your sent folder and it says it's been sent, it doesn't matter if I got it or not. You just got to show me that if I didn't do it. And I'm going to grade it based on that date and time that it says it was sent in your sent folder. If you didn't send it to me though, and you sent it to yourself, this is the most common mistake. Somebody here will send it to themselves. It's late. That's, that's something you got to be a detail. In a real job, you got to be detail oriented. You send it to yourself, and someone didn't get it, and it was due by a certain day at a job, it's a big deal. So same thing here. All right. Here's the good news. Let's see, where am I at? The good news is, nobody in here should get lower than a 75 on any assignment unless you don't care about your grade or this class. Because the answers are posted. Tonight, at the end of class, we have an in-class assignment. Tomorrow, as soon as I can remember, I'm going to post the answer. And, well, you're here. But, let's say you weren't here and you didn't get it done by midnight, and I'll explain that in a minute. And you're going to hand it in the next day. Well, you can get a 75. Because the answer is posted. You just got to write out your answer in your own handwriting, look at the answer, make sure it's correct, and then take a picture and send it to me. Your guarantee is 75 because you checked it against the right answer, right? So, I know I say this at the beginning of every semester, nobody should have less than a 75 on any assignment because the next day the answer is posted. And if you don't hand it in the next day, then you need a planner. Because that's a big deal in real life on a job. And you won't get a 75. The following day, oh, I forgot all about that. Now the motion gets a 65. Oh, the following day, oh, the motion gets a 55. So it gets a 40. All right, so if you care about your grade and you think you made a missed assignment, go to Blackboard and check. And if it's the next day, the answer is posted, open the answer, put it in your own handwriting, get it to me, your guarantee is 75. The reason this is so important, and I'm stopped right here and keep saying this, is because people who are not numbers oriented will fall apart on a quiz. Maybe not the first one, maybe the second one. And it's being here for these in-class assignments and getting your homework in and making sure you never have a grade under 75 that's going to keep your overall grade up. I've had people that have been here for every lecture. They've gotten hundreds and 75 and in between on all their assignments because they made sure and always handed in the next day. And they may they may have only passed 2 out of the 4 quizzes. I even had a student not pass the final, maybe get a 58, and still pass the class because they were here, did all the work, and realized they're never going to allow themselves to get less than 75 on an assignment. If you're worried about your grade, and this is the key, these 2 things are what are so easy, your class assignments especially, because you do them right here and the last 10 minutes of class. But they're so easy that these are the things you're going to make sure you pass the class. Showing up and doing this.
So what is the homework generally do? Like on the day you give this?
No. Always on Blackboard I put the date due. It's usually the very next class from the date of this. Okay. So in your case, it's going to be 2 days. The other class, they get a whole weekend to do it. But don't get me wrong, you'll have a weekend to do a different assignment. They'll only get 2 days. It's just because it fell on, because we started this weekend on Tuesday. This is why it's happening. But on Blackboard, I always put, to go to course content, right there. And here's where you're going to find, here's where you're going to find all the materials and all the assignments right here. So here's your PowerPoint, here's the list of topics posted. Next, I'm going to do some notes. For the first time, I'm going to use this thing and do it right on here. And then I'm going to save it. So tonight, anything we did on here, I'm going to post it right here so you even have these notes. Now, this is my first time doing this, and I want to encourage you to realize if I'm writing stuff down on this screen with my little magic pen, you don't need to take notes because I'm going to post them. This will all be there for you to just print off. Right? You may take some notes that you don't see me writing so you understand it or something, but I want you to be able to rely on the things I'm posting instead of you spending your whole time copying, writing down. Being able to be into the lecture, ask questions, answer my questions. I ask crazy questions out loud as we get more comfortable with each other. And answering these questions, whether you're right or wrong, just give me an answer at least. I want you to be more participant that way than to have to spend all your time looking down and writing notes, trying to keep up with the lecture. I'm writing the notes and I'm going to post them for you. And then your assignments are always right here. I always put the in-class on top, the due date's right here, the homework assignment. In your case, I just posted it about an hour ago, maybe less, and it's due on Thursday. And the due time is always when class starts. At the beginning of class, it has to be handed in. Whether you emailed it to me or dropped it off here or whatever you did, by the time class starts. If you're running late for class because of the no excuse policy, if you're going to be 2 minutes late, don't take a 25% reduction just because something happened and you're going to be 2 minutes late. Once you realize you're going to be 2 minutes late, stop walking, pull your assignment out, take your phone, take a picture, send it to me, and be 10 minutes late. Because I'm recording the lecture. You can pick up these 10 minutes on YouTube when I'm going to post the link tomorrow. You know, click, see what you missed. But at least you're not going to get a 25% reduction on your assignment because you got held up in traffic or you got a car accident or something like that. I've had people in their car, they're in traffic, they know they're not going to make it in time, they pull their assignment out, they take a picture of the phone, they send it to me, and you can relax. All right? Just because that no excuse policy is no excuse, so it doesn't matter what the reason is, just get it in. So, does this answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay. So tonight, I'm going to post the in-class assignment, and I know this looks like there's at least 2 students missing class today, and hopefully they'll go look, because if you miss class, I'm not posting the answer, just the assignment with the in-class. Right here will be the assignment. And the answer doesn't get posted until tomorrow. So, in the case of in-class assignment, you're not here. That means you have till midnight, because you're not going to be able to work with anybody, to hand it in on your own. And no late reduction. Because you weren't here, you didn't get to work with anybody, but you still went ahead and did it before midnight, so no late reduction. If you are here and you don't hand it in, you walk out without handing it in for whatever reason, and I know you're here, because you understand why it is, you still get a late reduction. I don't know why you walked out without handing it in. I developed the in-class assignments the way we're going to do them with a goal for everybody here to get 100 hours. Because you're going to be working in groups at the end of today's lecture, and you've got to get up, compare your answers, a big and an individual, go to another group on the other side of the room, compare your answer,
And if it's not the same, you talk about why they're not the same and either help them correct theirs or ask them so you can correct yours, and then go back and help your group correct it, so that when you're handed in, everybody gets 100 on it. These in-class assignments, getting 100 on them, you'll realize how important it is to keep your grade up after you felt part of a quiz. Okay? Everybody get that? So where are we now? Let's see. Going back to the syllabus, I gotta go a little faster. I don't want to not be able to do our in-class assignment tonight. See, we talked about the office hours, tests, the overall grade weights, the no excuse policy, the textbook. That was the most important reason why I sent this out to you early, is so that you could make an attempt to try to find an inexpensive textbook. That was the biggest problem for me when I was in college, is coming up with money for my textbooks. It was like I had to keep increasing my loans. It was crazy. So, I'm all about buying an older edition to save money if you need to. This is my first semester using the 15th. I used the 14th last year, but the 16th is out already. I'm using the 15th on purpose to try to help people save money. Or if the 16th isn't out, the 15th has been out long enough that there's many used ones out there, so I think this is time I can't remember the 16th out of that. But there's many of them used out there. Please tell me that somebody went on Amazon or Chegg or eBay and found a textbook for under $80. Oh, a lot of you.
You can rent 15th on Amazon for $40 on Amazon to rent it for the semester.
That's not bad. But if you have a date you have to hand it in before the final, that happens a lot. Did you get a date?
It's December 15th, which I believe is
And
accurate.
our final is right here, and right here. Our final is Thursday, December 12th. 4:15. What time is class meet? 5:30? What a weird time for a 5:30 class, but every semester this happens in my 5:30 classes. So I know a lot of you work and come here after work. Plan ahead. On December 12th, you gotta be here at 4:15 for this final. That's the only time you gotta be here early for it. And it will not interfere with another class you might have. It's usually at 4 o'clock on Tuesdays and Thursdays. The finals are designed that none of your finals are gonna overlap with another final. You just have to trust me. It's the only final you're going to have on Thursday, December 12th at 4:15. So plan ahead in case you have to wait till 5 usually. I posted this whole tentative schedule. This is the pace I think we might go at. But it's not always the case. Whatever pace we go up, it's the pace we go at. And I'll keep, when I update the schedule, it will always be right here on Blackboard. And of course, course information. So I'll put an announcement that says the course schedule can change. You go to course information, you look right here. I always point, when this quiz is over, you'll see all of it from quiz 1 to quiz 2 then. That is coming up. You go here and say, oh, here's what's changed, or here's what's changed. You go, wow, there's something due. When it's due change, you go to course contact, and there's always the due date. There's something coming up that's due. You check there. Most of the questions you'll have from, it's not like we're going to have a snow day. But who knows? I can't remember what happened last fall when we had the day off. Anybody remember there was something? Winter, we had like 3 days off in the snow. The winter semester. The fall semester, there was only 1 day from something that happened. I can't remember what it was.
Is there a power outage?
Maybe that was it. I can't remember. But if we have it, you go to Blackboard. I will update this schedule because we had a day off, and you'll see all the changes. And this is official right here. This right here is the tentative. Just kind of getting an idea what to expect all semester. Okay? Textbook. We talked about it. Missing parts on your homework. Hand it in, even if there's missing parts. We talked about it. Great. Okay. Right here. Every in-class assignment and every homework gets graded with one of these 3 on top. It may have just an okay. That means I didn't do a detailed grading. Instead, I took everyone's assignment and I looked at you significantly attempted and showed work for every problem. I'm not looking if you got it right or wrong. Just that I could see that you have enough work there that you attempted. And if you attempted every problem, I put an okay at the top, same as 100. But the okay means I didn't look if it was right or wrong. Do not pull that homework assignment out while you're taking a quiz and rely on it. Print the answer instead and use that to rely on while you're taking a quiz if you had an okay. Because I didn't look to see if your answer was right. If you have okay with a score, it means it was a non-detailed grading, but you were missing some significant work and you don't deserve 100. You may got it right or wrong, I'm not sure, but you don't have enough detail there to show that you put in the effort to really do that problem. Instead, you just came up with the answer or something the least right thing was wrong. So I took off some points, but I didn't do a detailed rating. If you have a score only and the word okay is nowhere on there, that means it was your surprise detailed grading game. Approximately 50% of your in-class assignments, 60% of your in-class assignments are detailed grading, and about 40% of your homework assignments are detailed grading. But you never know when it's coming. Because all of a sudden you'll get it back with the score only without the word okay at all. You'll know, and we'll go, oh, this was detailed grading because there's no okay. It's a score, 100, 98, 99. And you'll go through and see where I took off points. You can see exactly what happened. Always take your homework after and hand it back, compare it to the correct answer that's posted. And if you had some wrong, you're not correcting it, just print the corrected, again, print the correctly answered, and use that while you take it through. As your guide. The whole point of these homework assignment answers that I'm posting is that you can see step by step how we got to the answer, and you can follow that logic then. It's similar to a quiz question. Oh, that's similar to this homework problem. Look at the logical step, follow the logic on that homework problem, showing your step-by-step work. That's the key to this class. I'm all about you showing the work. But I want to see what's going on in your mind how you got the answer. Once in a while, I got people who hate showing work, who hate putting details. And they'll just put an answer. If your answer is wrong, you're losing all the points. If you show detail how you got to the wrong answer, you're barely losing points. I'm all about giving you as much partial credit as I possibly can for all the steps. I pinpoint where you made a mistake and only take off points at that spot where you made a mistake, not the whole thing. Same with your quizzes. In your final exam, show step by step how you got to the answer. Because I'm going to be trying to give you as much partial credit on that quiz or the final exam as I can, based on you showing the works that you got correct up to that point. And then in the concept you did, even with the wrong calculation, I'm giving you as much points as I can because you still have the concept right, had you gotten to the right answer at whatever point you needed to stay. It's a big deal to show work on your quizzes and final exam for that partial credit. Your grade will be much higher than just giving me an answer. Even if your answer is right because you didn't show any work, I'm still taking out a little bit of work. Because it's at the very top of the quiz, at the very top of the final, show work. Right? Go. There's your part. Grading, we talked about it. Grading scale, we talked about. Participation. You saw it on the course outline. I just want to make sure, the course syllabus, I want to make sure you get it. Participation, it was 6% of our grade, I think. Anybody remember from the weighted amount, it was about 6% of our grade? Yeah. Okay. So there's 100%. 6% of the 100 participation. 40% of that 6% is attendance. You take attendance every class. And I have this Excel formula. I wanted to show you. It's the first time I'm showing how, so you can see. All it does is I enter the attendance into the spreadsheet. At the end of the semester, it will count how many absences you had. And walking in late is a quarter absent. Showing up halfway through class is a half an absent. However many absences you have, divided by the number of classes that lecture took place, which I think might be 22. That will change if it's 23. It could be 24. I don't remember. 22. Subtract it from 22. Divide by 22. So let's say you missed 2 classes. 20 divided by 22 times that 40% will be your part of your participation score of that 6%. As you can see, it's a big part. This next part, B10 divided by 2. Because 15% of your participation is based on 2 emails this semester. I'm not asking for too much. Did you have any before? Ever?
No,
Never.
I had a class, I think, that was right after your class.
Oh, you've had it before. Who else has in here had it before? That's it? Yeah, okay. You guys, 2 emails. That's all I'm asking for this semester. They're not emails handing something in either. You can't have an attachment and hand something in and go, oh, by the way, I want participation with you. No, it's 2 emails where you're handing in an email, maybe you're asking a question, maybe, I know in about the 14th week I start getting emails. I'm sending you this email just to get participation, which is fine. As long as you're not handing something in, I'm okay with that, okay? But I hopefully we don't wait till the 14th week, and that's why I put this rule in. They gotta be on different days, because the last day I'll start getting, this is for participation, this is for participation, and here's my next one too. No, they gotta be on 2 different days, all right? I mean, I don't think I'm asking a lot. I just want to hear from you. Get one out of the way. Just, when you get out of class or whatever, just write me an email that says, I want to get my first participation email in. Here's my email. There you go. Just don't hand anything in with it. You got one done. Next, this part of the formula where it says A10 divided by 1. It's going to look on A10 whether you did an office visit or not. Because as soon as you do an office visit, I put a mark in that cell in column A. And it will look to see if you did it or not. It will either be 0 divided by 1 or 1 divided by 1 times 10%. I'm just asking for one office visit again. Skype, FaceTime. You're on your way to class early, so I'm still in my office. So peek your head in. If you don't have a question, say, I'm here to get my office visit. I'll mark it down and we're good. Seriously, you don't understand how hard it is to get somebody to do one office visit. There used to be 2, and it's starting to hurt people's grades. And I realized this is impossible. I'm going with 1. Right? That's all I'm asking for, is 1 office visit. That's 5% of your grade, so this will be 0.5 times. This is either going to be a 1 or a 0. At the end of the semester, you've got to do an evaluation of the course. And then when you get done with the evaluation, a screen comes up and says, your evaluation is completed successfully. You take a picture with your phone, and then send me that been done successfully, and you get this, what is it, 5%? Where is it? You get this 5% for completing the evaluation. Do not send me a picture of your answers. Do not send me a picture of your answers. That's not what this is about at all. It's just, in the old days, I could go on the Blackboard, there'd be a check next to your name if you did it, but Blackboard changed and that's not there anymore, so the only way I know if you did it is if you send me this picture of that completion page, and if you forget, when you sign in the evaluation, it'll be listed there, and it will show that you completed the one for this course. Just take a picture of that, or click on it and go to a page that just shows you completed it on another. There's like 3 different pages that show which ones you completed. Take a picture of it on any of those web pages that show you completed, and send it to me at the end of the semester. When it's time to do the evaluation. So that's that part. I'll remind you when we get there. Helping others during in-class assignments. When we do our in-class assignment later today, we have time. When we do it, you're going to be broken up in groups of 3 approximately, or 2, 3, with a small class. Each group usually has someone that kind of understands it maybe and helps the others. And you get up when it's time to compare with other groups. You help them because maybe they had a mistake or they're helping you. These last 2, helping others and speaking up when I ask questions and stuff, I have to make a judgment on. That's the only part of this whole class that I have to use my judgment. So I'm pretty generous. Don't get me wrong. I almost never give 100, but I almost always get between, the lowest I think I've ever gone on helping others or speaking up was maybe 78 or something, and the highest is a 99, unless something crazy that maybe, if somebody gets 100, it's probably like 1 person. But, so those are the only 2 parts. The rest are all, you did it or you didn't do it, just machine. I got to make it. And it doesn't, believe me, if I hate you, I'm never going to do it. But if I did, and I gave you a 60 and a 60, you'll realize there's such small parts of your grade, 15% to 50% of 6% of your grade. It's not even 1% of your grade, so I can't really affect your grade. No matter how low I put those 2 scores, and you'll realize even if I gave you an 80, you'd still be getting the same grade. It's like when we get to the end, I almost cannot affect your grade. So you don't have to be nice to me for any reason, because I can't really affect your grade. I mean, these are the only 2 spots where I use any judgment at all. And when I'm grading your quiz, I'm not even looking at your name. I'm grading on your machine. Oh, you will go, hey, how did you know this part? Oh, you'll see that you get different points off for the mistakes that same mistake. No, everybody will be the same. So there's no way I can hurt your grades. You don't have to be artificially nice for any reason. I can't affect your grade. All right. That's all I'm covering today for the syllabus, course outline. You can look at it when you open it up. When you get on Blackboard, just like I said, schedule. I really, even if we slow down or speed up, I try to keep the quizzes on the dates of their schedule. What will change is maybe there's less or more that would be on that quiz. I always talk about that the lecture before the quiz. Okay, we only got halfway through chapter 1, so only up to this information could be on the quiz. Wherever we're at before that quiz date is what could be on the quiz. All right? So you can pretty much count on these being the dates of the quiz. I got on there, we have this little break here on October 15th. We have another little break at Thanksgiving. Where's that at? November 28th, there's no classes. December 10th, there's no classes. This is a study day, I believe, so nobody has classes on December 10th. And any of your classes, I'm almost sure that's the study day. Is that Tuesday?
I believe so.
Is that okay? So nobody has classes. You have 3 dates where you'll have no classes because of, we have what's called fall break, Thanksgiving, and study day. And then your finals 2 days after that. All right, we're ready? Cool. Here we go, chapter 13, the easiest chapter. If you didn't get the list of subjects, it's posted. When you get home, you can get it. Now, all this stuff here is the stuff I hope that you read before you come to class. You'll start to realize how I do things. I jump to the, I did want to talk about this, but I usually jump right to the problem, the example problem, all the information before the problem stuff I'm hoping you're reading before you come, or you're going to read, hopefully review before you take the first quiz or whatever, the final. So that's how it goes. But I do want to talk about this. We're about to talk about decision making and decision analysis, and you're all in this particular chapter. We're not doing the whole chapter. We're just doing the first half of it. You're going to be given a decision table. And that table is either going to be a profit table or a cost table, or it could be time, it could be distances, it could be anything. All right? You're going to use that table and do different decision analysis approaches on the same table in most cases. So when we get to this part right here, this is an example of a table. And if this were a problem on your quiz, it will say profit table or cost table. And when you learn these approaches on how to analyze this, you've got to realize what does the best outcome mean. For example, look at decision 1. Right here. Here's our decision. And on these tables, they're not always the rows. The decisions could be up here in columns, and the state of nature could be in the rows. So make sure to look at this table and analyze it. Here's our state of nature. Hey, we're thinking about this project. I'm about to get into it. And here's our table of possible outcomes we analyze. My question for you right now, this is your chance to start getting involved in participation, is look at decision 1. How many different outcomes do you possibly that could happen with decision 1? 2. Very good. We could either, I believe this is in millions, we could either make $8 million if we go with this decision, and the demand ends up being strong when we open our doors with whatever this decision is. But if it's weak, this would be our projected profit or from it, because it's a profit table. Now looking at decision 1, and I ask you, which is the best possible outcome for decision 1 if this is a profit table, state of nature demand strong or state of nature demand weak? Strong is the best decision, because I told you it's a profit table. Now you look at this table and you've got the word cost table here. Decision 1, strong is no longer the best decision. And these concepts you're going to learn, you've got to find the best one for each decision. If this is a cost table, you're looking at this, not that. Right? What if this is distance and you're trying to save gas? This is 8 miles, 7 miles. You're trying to save gas. Which would be the best outcome? 8 miles or 7 miles? 7 miles. Makes sense. If this is distance, one of the formulas says find the best of each decision. You're going to use the 7. Medium. If this is distance, you're trying to save gas, You're gonna use the 5. And this doesn't make sense if this is distance, but if it were, this would be the best one, meaning you get 9 miles back on your auto. I don't know. There would be a negative to this. But you get the concept we're trying to get at? When you see these approaches and it says pick the best and pick the worst, you got to look and see what kind of table you have to know what best and worst means. Okay, here's the story. Pittsburgh Development Corporation has purchased land for a site for these luxury condominiums. They're looking, they've got an architectural drawing for 3 different projects. Condominium development with 30 condos, another one with 60, another one with 90. So when we get our decision table, here's our decision. We're trying to figure out, should we put the money out to build 30 condos, or 60 or 90? There's our 3 decisions. Small, medium, large complex, right? So now we got to this point. Those who are into numbers say, at our next meeting, I'll have an analysis of what our possible outcomes could be, whether we go with small, medium, or large, okay? The financial success of the project depends on the size of condominium complex and the chance event of what demand will be for these condos. All right, now I want you to truly imagine right now, I don't have time for that. That's all right. I need to get you as far as I need to get you to be able to do the question. Well, I want you to imagine right now that you're part of this company and you've reached the executive management level. I call it a seat at the table. And you've got a seat at the table. You know, that was the biggest deal for me in business when I finally got a seat at the table to say, here, I want to put my input on what direction this company's going. But you got a seat at the table. And that's outside the committee. And you were there getting involved, coming up with the 3 possibilities of wanting to go into. And that's just how it works. And then you say, okay, we're going to meet again next Friday, 3 o'clock, executive committee, which is top management. Everybody come with what your expectations are as to what you think the outcomes could be. How much will it cost? How much you think we're making? And these are the numbers. People will work this all out, and then everybody comes to me, and they'll give you the information they found out. And what they found out is that if we go with only 30 small complex, and if the demand is strong when we finish these, by the way, just hypothetically, how long do you think it's going to take for us to go from we just broke the egg of the idea to where, oh my God, we're going to sell these condos now because they're finished? That's a pretty long time, I think. What would you say? 2 months. No. Wow. At least a half a year, maybe. So this is what makes these kind of decisions tough. Because you have no idea what's going to happen in our economy 6 months from now, a year from now, if this takes a year. This makes it tough. So, this is why I want to go back and define what you're looking at. Decision alternatives are the actual decisions that you're trying to decide what to make. Build small, complex, medium, or large. States of nature are the things that are not in your control. You can't do anything about it. They're not in your control. But what happens to your decision based on that state of nature? The state of nature is so important that it's going to reflect on how the outcome is going to be on your decision. And that's very common in business decisions. If we do this, you're at a company, make golf supplies. We've done golf clubs, we've done golf balls, golf shoes, golf gloves, but we haven't done golf bags. We're thinking about going to golf bags. This is the real scenario for a company. State of nature in this case would be, is golf overall on the increase or decrease as a recreational activity for people in our country or wherever our selling market's going to be? Or, and then the overall economy. Are we possibly heading through a recession because people don't want to spend money on golf bags if they start worrying about getting food on the table? So you've got all this to think about when you're making this kind of decision. This is real. Especially when you're looking at new ventures or new products. And so you say, here's the state of nature in this particular decision on these condos, is that if our economy keeps going like it is right now, we're probably going to have strong demand for these, and here is our profit in millions. 8 million, we do 30, 14 million, we do 60, 20 million, we do 90. Right now, someone at the table is going, we're doing 90. We're doing 90. And someone else goes, wait a minute. Look at the risk involved. If this doesn't work out right, and this economy backfires, we're losing $9 million a year, plus the money we spent on building it. And our cash flow will be burned to the point to where we can't make payroll, and all our employees are leaving us. Get it? That's where this stuff is used, because you've got to take all of that into consideration when you're at the table. Now, the first concept. Let's go to our list. Anybody got that list? It's called the conservative one. That's right. Thank you. Maxi Max. This is, I'm sorry, this is not conservative. This is the optimistic approach. You ready? Maxi Max says, look at each decision, pick the best outcome from each decision. Right, let's rip these off fast. Decision 1, the best outcome is how much? $8 million. Decision 2, the best outcome is 14. And decision 3, the best outcome is
20.
You need to show the work. This is such an easy concept. Maxi Max, you found the best one for each one. So you're going to write down small, you can just write D1 even. Decision 1, best equals 8. Decision 2, best equals 14. Decision 3, best equals 20. There's your work. And then the Maxi Max approach, very naive approach, says, now that you know the best for each decision, pick the best of the best and make that decision your recommendation. You ready? What's the best of those best outcomes possible?
20.
20, and your recommendation is, I heard it over here, the large. We're going 90 tons. If we use the Maxi Max approach in our decision analysis. As you can see, it's very nice. You know, there isn't really much to it. It's the best of the best. You can literally just look at this and go, what's the biggest number? Because this is profit. I'm recommending 3. You are getting maybe 1 point out of 3. Because you didn't show me that you're logically following the concept that you're learning in class, how it works. First, you're showing me the best for each decision. Then put an arrow and say recommend decision 3 or recommend large or this is the best one, Maxi Max, this is what we're going with. Well, however you're going to do it, make it obvious that you show the step by step and you got to that. Now that's pretty easy, right? This next one's also easy. This next one is called, was it Maxi Min? Maxi Min?
Yes.
Yeah, Maxi Min. Okay, Maxi Min, and it's called the conservative approach, I think? Yes. Right? Conservative approach. All right. This one says, did I put a hint next to that? When you wrote it down. Did I put a hint next to it?
No.
All right. If you're writing this hint down, my hint is first pick the worst outcome for each decision, then recommend the decision that has the best of the worst outcomes. Did you hear that? So this Maxi Max that we did is the best of the best. Maxi Min is the best of the worst. That's how I used to always remember it. You can pick those two things down. Best of the best of the worst. Yeah.
Can you repeat what you said before that?
You ready?
First find.
First find the worst outcome for each decision. Help me with the first decision. You have an 8 and a 7. Don't help her. What's the worst? This is profit again. Is 8 million or 7 million the worst possible outcome for decision 1? Help her. 7. It's the worst because it's the lowest of the two. Medium, worst possible outcome. 5. Large, worst possible outcome. Losing 9 million. You showed your work. Decision 1, worst. 7. Decision 2, worst. 5. Decision 3, worst. -9. Now highlight or point at it and make your recommendation. Which one's the best of the worst? First of all, the amount of the best of the worst is how much? 7 million. So you're recommending decision 1. Small, 1. Very good. That's how you do Maxi Min. They're so easy. You're wondering what the heck is this class all about? I made it easy. I don't want to scare you. Trust me, it's going to get a lot harder. Trust me, you'll hate this class. And me. Trust me. I'm going to do everything I can to get you through it. To prepare you. So we did Maxi Max, we did Maxi Min. Are you ready? Next is Mini Max Regret. Wait, before we go on. Here's the Maxi Max, the best for each one. And then look what's being recommended, the best of the best. Here's the Maxi Min, the worst for each one. And the best of the worst is decision 1. So you got examples right there in the PowerPoint, right? Now we're doing Mini max regret. Let me go back to the table. Right here. By the way, every one of these chapters, when you see these examples like this is such a mini example compared to real life. In real life, you have probably at least 5 states of nature or more. In decisions, you have at least 10. And this is just very micro. Now, here's where everybody makes a mistake on regret table. So what did everybody know on regret table? I think I gave it again. Use. Oh, that's
Wrong one.
Oh, create a regret table. Yes. Don't forget to create your regret table. And here's how you do it. You look at the state of natures and find the best outcome. Not for the decision. I'm having got it right now. Mini max regret. First step, do not use decision to look at state of nature and find the best outcome. Look at state of nature 1, which is strong demand. How many $1 million is the best outcome? 20. Now, subtract every possible outcome in that state of nature from that best one. And this is your regret. 20 minus 20 right here, strong demand, large complex, is a 0 regret. If we end up having strong demand and we went ahead and built 90 of them, we have no regret. We just made 20 different. Because everything worked out. Trust me, everything won't work out. You've always been a problem. All right? But 14, there's going to be some regret here if we have a strong demand. 20 minus 14 is 6 million in regret. 6. The top one, 8. But we could add 20. So we have regret of 12. Now let me jump to the regret table so you can see. 0, 6, and 12. Because we found the best for the state of nature and subtracted everything from it. Now we're going to weak demand. This is a profit table, not a cost. Profit table. What's the best outcome for weak demand state of nature? 7 million. Subtract everything from 7. And yes, this is a negative 9. Think of a number scale. 7 minus negative 9. So this 7 minus 7 is 0. 7 minus 5 is 2. You're using absolute values, so you can do 5 minus 7 is 2. Doesn't matter, absolute values. 7 minus negative 9 is 16. There's 16 between those two numbers. 16 million in regret. Possibly, right? Because if you went with a large complex, we went into recession right as you're finishing this job. You have weak demand for the condos. If you had only built 30, you have $16 million in regret that you didn't decide to do small, which is 30, excuse me. All right, so that's your regret table. Look at it again. Here's my regret table, is that right? This is it, right here. You ready? That's, you show your regret table. You know, I don't care if you show me how you got the 12, 6, and 0, but if these are wrong, I hope you show me because I'm going to give you partial credit. But a lot of people will skip this part, so I don't take off points as long as you have a correct regret table. Next step is to look at each decision's amount of regret and figure out what the most regret is for the decision. We went from state of natures to decision. Decision 1, the most regret we could have if we made the wrong decision is how much regret? $12 million regret is the most. Decision 2, how much is the most regret we could have? 6 million. And decision 3, the most regret we could have is 16. So we've got 12, 6, and 16 as our most regrets. These are max regrets. The last step is to pick the least of the max regrets. Let me repeat that. You're now going to recommend a decision. You're going to put an arrow, highlight, circle, whatever it is. Out of those max regrets, whichever one gives you the least amount of regret is the recommendation you're making. We have a 12, 6, and 16. Which one is the least amount of max regret? 6, so you're recommending decision 2. We're building 60, not 30, not 90, based on mini max regret. We're done with that one. So far, so good? All right, we're all in there? we're doing on time. We only got about 3 minutes before that alarm goes off. Next is called, there's our max regrets, 12, 6, and 16. We're going with decision 2 because it's the least of the max regrets. The max regrets. Okay. Here we go. Where's expected value approach? Expected value approach says, problem says, hey, use the same table for the payoffs, but now the executive committee was able to have enough information to come up with the probability that when we finish these condos of strong demand and the probability of weak demand. And so once you're given probabilities in the problem, the expected value is saying use the probability given to you. Now, the probabilities, if you're expected to do expected value calculation, will always be given to you in the problem. You're not expected to come up with probabilities. So in this case, the probabilities are, look, I'm taking this and just bringing it down to a point to where it's going to be very easy for you. You don't have to try to figure out what that says. I'm telling you, here's what it says, bottom line, let's make it easy. And it's right here. We just found out that the possibility of strong demand has an 80% chance. Because we're finishing these condos right when the economy is still growing, we see no possibility of the growth stopping at this point. We're going to still have growth at that. And we have the possibility of weak demand being 20% because of this forecast we made. We all agreed that this could be the future. We applied some logical probabilities to them. Now calculate what's called the expected value approach and make your recommendation. Again, this is a profit table. You ready? Here we go. Well, that's the regression. Let me get to the table. There we go. Expected value says, help me out, 80-20? Is that the percentages?
Yes.
They're always going to add up to 100. Even if you have 3 of them, you add them up, they add up to 100% because one of these case scenarios are going to take place. You just don't know which one. You take that probability and you take each decision and multiply the probability by the possible outcome that corresponds with it, and then add it to all the possible outcomes for that decision. You ready? Well, that's the alarm. We'll stop as soon as I finish this. 80% times 8 plus 20% times 7 added together will give you the expected value for decision 1 based on the probability that we're given to you. Let's do decision 2. 80% times 14, this is 80% chance. 20% times 5 added together, there's our expected value. The last one, 20 times 80%, negative 9 times 20%, added together, you get your value. This is a profit table, so the decision you're going to recommend is the largest or smallest number in this case? Largest. This is a cost table. You're doing the exact same thing, but your recommendation is the smallest, not the largest. You get the difference? So here we go. Right here. 80% times 8 plus 20% times 7. The expected value is 7.8. Let me move my pointer. $7.8 million. 80% times 14. 20% times 5. $12.2 million for decision 2. 80% times 20. 20% times $9 million loss. 14.2. There's our 3 expected outcomes. You're recommending decision 1, 2, or 3. 3. It has the largest expected value, 14.2 million out of these. So right now, you could, if I give you a table, you could do maxi max, you could do maxi mid, you could put together a regret table, do mini max regret, and now you can do expected value. And when we get together on Thursday, you're going to learn the last part of chapter 13, which is expected value perfect information, which uses the expected value as part of the formula. That's where we're stopping. Here's your in-class assignment. Everybody hands in their own. You're not breaking into groups for the first 60 seconds. I want everybody, when they're looking at this problem, you're going to be short on time. There's 2 parts to it. You're not going to do the second part, as it said, if time permits. There's a second part to this problem, but we are not going to have time to do the second part. So you're only going to be responsible for the first part. Everybody in this room spend the first 60 seconds attempting it. If you get it wrong, so what? Do not erase what we did. But if you get in your group and it is wrong, flush it out and do it correctly. But make an attempt. That's all I'm asking for. Even if you have no clue, make an attempt in the first 60 seconds. Here is your in-class assignment for today. That's it? Yes. Just the first one. Let me hide the second second one, the answer to the second one will be posted tomorrow, so you can use the study problem, but we don't have time to do the second part. Here is your table, whatever it means. I'm asking you for the expected value. About 68% of strong demand, there's a 32% of weak demand. I want you to find the expected value for each decision and make a recommendation. But for these first 60 seconds, I'm just asking you to kind of start writing out your work as to how you calculate it. All right? Let me look at my clock here.